Good morning, folks, and happy Thursday. We're back for another episode of Live Trading. I hope you're doing well. Tesla, yikes, what's going on? A lot of stuff to cover. We're going to go ahead and get it done. Got my man 13 in the back. Hope y'all are well. Let's roll that intro.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
All right, folks, back for Live Trading. Good to have you all back. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Carmen, good morning. Carmen's not even wasting any time. Not even wasting any time. Hi, what's on the list today? We got stuff to do. Absolutely love it. Let me bring on 13. 13, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit there.
You
how's
can
everybody
adjust
else
your
doing?
camera because that might be one of the best shirts I ever saw. That's what I do. I drink whiskey and I know things. Very fitting for our friend 13 here. So hats off to that. Good stuff. All right. What's up? Good morning. Great to see everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Let me go ahead and get my screen share up. We're going to first talk about the SPY. SPY here continuing to push, right? So we traded down yesterday. It did look like a blow off top, or kind of felt like that, especially if you're in the bear camp like I have been. But today we're rebounding back. Now, we did have some earnings here this morning. We had Comcast, Union Pacific, Southwest, American, Alaska Air, just to name a few. Looks like we have Blackstone and Marsh & McLennan as well. So number of earnings here this morning that's driving us higher. But the big news is going to be Tesla earnings from last night, perhaps IBM earnings from last night. That OG AI play really doing well, and that is affecting the market here today. So one of the things I'm just going to kind of watch. I have no angle on the broader market, the SPY or the Qs or anything like that. As a result, I don't have any trade plans lined up for that. 13, I know you have levels for this, but do you have any types of plan of attack for trading the broader market, or are we going to kind of stick to some of those smaller names here today?
In the morning, we're going to stick to these smaller names, and then I'll start looking at some of the larger ones to see what they end up doing after the volatility ends in the morning. I did see that we got the jobless claims and GDP numbers out, so I think that's going to move the needle in some of this trading that we're going to be seeing this morning. I need to look more into what the Fed was expecting for GDP, because I believe what they were what their plan is going to fall in line with what we would get from GDP and tomorrow PCE as well. So I need to review that. But so far, it looks like jobless claims is higher than the estimates, which is good. We want to see some, I hate to say it, we want to see some job losses pick up a bit here, because that falls in line with the Fed's plan to cut rates.
Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the small stocks. Before we do that, let's go ahead and get our list started here. First of all, the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool, the best prop firm out there. You can get up to $260,000 in buying power. So if you need help getting above getting more buying power, or getting above the $25,000 day trading threshold, be sure to check out Trade the Pool. Great people, very helpful. Join us in the stream. Check them out. The other thing is that they have, let's get the list started, right? We've got a couple from Trade the Pool here today. Tesla, resistance at 194. I mean, we're currently at 189 at the moment. Support at 176.5. So definitely some support, much lower than where we're at now. We will definitely be looking at Tesla multiple times today, I'm sure. So we'll go ahead and check in on that. AMD here. I saw someone in the chat say AMD to 200. Maybe. We don't have resistance listed on this graphic here. Resistance at dash, but support at 180.5. AMD has been an absolute rager here. I know they have an AI chip that they're talking about. Sky seems to be the limit. Honestly, I don't think 200 is out of the question, although I don't think we get there today. Wouldn't be shocked if it gets there eventually. So AMD, just a huge run up. The one thing I will say on AMD, be careful, because it has run up quite fast. At some point, it is going to regress back to the mean. And then lastly, here we have IBM, which, as mentioned, reported earnings last night, better than expected earnings last night, is trading up here this morning. Resistance at 186.5 and support at 182. So we will definitely be checking out some of those names throughout the course of the day. But let's move over to the movers scanner and figure out what is gapping up and gapping down today and see what we have on deck. So the first stock here is going to be PCSA. This is Processa Pharma. I got to say, I don't think I've ever entered this ticker in my broker. So unsure how this thing actually trades here. Looks like we did pop as high as 375. We've come back in a little bit, but we're very, very orderly, sticking right around the VWAP. That's exactly the type of stuff that I like to see. We did have a PR here that's driving this here today. Processa Pharmaceuticals announces a successful completion of its phase 1B study, our safety evaluation of NGC cap in patients with advanced cancer, resulting in recommended phase 2 doses. So you're getting some phase 1 data here PR'd. That is driving the stock. We're up 66% here today. This one likely going to be in play. We've seen some of these other biotechs really get hot after they pop. Go ahead, 13.
I've got more on this one too. This is a low float stock. They just had a 20-for-1 reverse split earlier this week on the 22nd. They also have a over 17% short interest. Not really that many days to cover, and I believe that short interest is only high because they did the reverse split recently. So as we've seen before with these low floats, recent reverse splits, they can tend to be some pretty volatile movers. So this is one I'm going to be definitely watching today.
Yeah, and I think there was, I can't remember the ticker, the last one that we took a look at, but if I recall correctly, it really kind of shook out some of those weak hands before actually making the bigger move higher. Look for the same type of thing here. PCSA. What is that? That's going to be Papa Charlie Sierra Alpha. For that phonetic alphabet. Okay, next on the list here is going to be Lava Therapeutics, and this is ticker LVTX. This also popped as high as 275. It looks like, did we get 275 prints? Maybe came back into the VWAP, holding right here at about 230. Really good volume here this morning so far on LVTX. And again, we have a PR driving this. Lava Therapeutics announces collaboration with Merck to evaluate Lava 1207 in combination with Keytruda. So Keytruda, one of Merck's very successful drugs. Looks like they're trying to fold in another one here for a combination therapy. That is popping Lava here today. We are up 51, just about 51.5%. This one likely to get some action here as well. 13, do you have anything extra on this? I did see that the float was just about 10 million, still kind of low.
10 million float, that's fairly low. We want to get ones that are under that, but still pretty low. And they also have a pretty good well, their balance sheet isn't too bad. They're not really making money right now, but they have some fairly low debt. I just thought that was an interesting little bullet point because some of these companies that are this small, they really do rack up the debt. And they don't have a whole lot of cash.
This company also has cash too. In addition to having very low debt, also has cash on hand as well.
So there's and the fact that they're partnering with Merck for a collaboration on a drug. I think that this one may be more than just a day trade at some point. This one could be better in the long term. I'm not suggesting that you invest in this, but keep it on your radar. If this is something that interests you for a long-term play, there might be some benefit to that.
Absolutely. And the other thing about a long-term here, I mean, today might be just kind of a reaction to some of this news, right? The initial reaction. If we take a look here, on average, the stock trades about 36,000 shares per day. That's nothing. I mean, that is minuscule. It's traded 16.5 million already this morning. It just gives you an idea of how much exposure is on this name. That likely means that the stock's going to overshoot to the upside, maybe even overshoot to the downside if it starts to reverse intraday. Just kind of keep that in mind here where we're at. LVTX. We'll definitely keep watching this one. Tell you what, man. Therapeutics, biotechs, 2024. There's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of them. There's been a lot of trading opportunities for some of these. So that's really, really awesome. Let's go ahead and keep moving down the list. I do see some people in the chat throwing out names. We got plenty of time. We will cover those. SXTC, China SXT Pharmaceuticals. Okay, we just talked about biotechs, pharmaceuticals, and all of that. But we're going to add a caveat here for this one. This is a Chinese pharmaceutical company. So you tell me if you trust the numbers that they're talking about or not. You can already see there's been some pretty massive volatility here. First spike took us up to 290. We peeled all the way back to 210. Then we set new highs as we go to 311. Good band, by the way. And then came back in, moved beneath the VWAP, and then found some support right here about 225. These China names, generally speaking, I don't really trade them. Looking around here in the morning, it does seem like we've got some pretty decent other stocks to trade. So I might just kind of pass over this one, but that doesn't mean that this one can't get crazy. 13, what do you think about this name here? Mega low float.
Oh yeah. That's the big thing for me, is that this thing has such low float that you could see it run up $1 and then it'll just get you cut in half, and then it'll go down $2. This is going to move around way too much, and unless you're already setting your stops and you're making bracket orders and things of that nature, you're probably going to get caught in this. That's just my assessment. There's no news on this either, so this is really just getting pushed around because of its low float. Someone's pumping it somewhere. I don't trust that. I would, if you're going to trade this, be careful. Otherwise, like Ryan said, let's move on to something else that's probably more has a little bit more value to trade.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there on this one. Trade it at your own risk. We're trying to outline all of the different things about this. This stock trades on average 654,000 shares, 655,000 shares per day. Float's only 427. Today, we are seeing just under 4 million shares. I mean, there can be all types of shenanigans with this name here. So just be prepared for it. If you're prepared for it, you can make a plan around it. A couple more things that I really quickly want to discuss. I do see ENSC on here. This is one that we've been looking at the past several days. We're under that 160 area, pretty much back down to where it was the first day that we were trading this. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that we had a number of airlines report here this morning, including American Airlines. Those are up here today. We're seeing the same thing with Save. Looks like this bounce play is going up. Hi, buddy. I know you don't like work. He hates when I work. He just wants to do something else. So we'll keep that in mind. I did want to go over a couple here from the chat. Becca, good morning. Becca, you were mentioning Vera here. This is Vera Therapeutics. Looks like I don't have a price quote for that. Bummer. Let me see if I can get one here though. Hang on a sec. We might be able to get that here. If not, I think I can pull that up and trade. What the hell?
No, it's just run already. I mean, it's over. It hit 21.95. That's wild. I'm using my broker.
But I had this pull. There we go. I was going to say, I don't understand. There was the price quote there. So here is Vera. As you can see here, we're really kind of pushing up here. It has already run. Looks like 22 is going to fall here. If I flip over to some of the stats about this not one of the low flows, right? 33.5 million here. Does on average only trade about 500,000 shares. And we're about 300,000 shares there so far here today. Now the catalyst here, let me actually flip to the news tab. It's easier for me to read on that tab. Really, dude? Come on.
Let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's so ridiculous. That's so ridiculous.
All right, maybe there's some other way I can find out what's going on in here. Kidney drug trial data.
Here it is. Gosh, sorry about that. Unsure why it's doing that, but we'll report that. So a couple of things here. So as 13 was just saying there, you had trial data, phase 2B trial data. We also have Oppenheimer initiating coverage on this with an outperform rating and announcing a $26 price target. Still about $5 higher than where we're at, maybe $4.50 higher. So it looks like this has some good data going on with it. That is popping. This should be volatile as well. We'll see where we end up going here with this.
I would say that $26 price target could very well be in play today.
Okay, maybe we will hit those. Price targets are generally 12 to 18 months, but we're so close. The move has been so big so far. You're right, 13. We might be there. We might actually end up getting there today. Just a reminder here from QN. We talked about this the other day. It makes sense to bring it up again. Save here, right? We talked yesterday. Save had that special dividend. The X date was the 24th. You can see it really kind of sold off yesterday. Today, it looks like it's curling. Do we bounce? Do we maybe trade back up towards that 8 handle, maybe 850? Save, definitely one to watch here. This has actually given us some decent trades recently. Another one that I want to cover because the CEO is currently on CNBC right now. I can't hear what he's saying. Is ServiceNow. This is a huge stock. This was a huge report yesterday. The initial move off the report was up. It reversed hard. We actually were watching this during the happy hour show. Really kind of broke beneath 750 and now has slowly been drifting back up. So CEO Bill McDermott is on CNBC right now, known as let's say a very good salesman, likes to really hype up his stock. So ServiceNow might be in play here again today. Remember, earnings going to be the catalyst there. Nick, you want to take a look at STIM? Let me see if I can get back to my main workspace here. Oh, you know what? I just noticed that Palantir on the relative volume scanner looks like this is trading up here today. Maybe Palantir can make a move towards that 1750 handle. I beg your pardon. We've actually seen the stock trade around that level a number of times, both from the upside and the downside. We'll see if Palantir can get rolling here today. Nick, good morning, Nick. You wanted to take a look at STIM. I don't think I'm going to get I don't think that's going to end up breaking my chart here. I don't have a price quote for it. Let me see. Yep. Sorry, man. Don't know why that is the case. I was working on fixing that yesterday. STIM, this is about a $3.50 stock. It did pop as high as 4, but it's really kind of come back into that 3.5 handle. So I don't have any line on STIM. I will look that up here as soon as I end up getting a price quote for it.
The thing about PLTR, and I'm trying to look into if it's moving in relation to this. I believe I read that Oracle was hit with the same by the same group, the same cyber hacking group as Microsoft. So there might be a play here with cybersecurity stocks. I'm just trying to confirm if that's what's happening.
Okay,
here.
Awesome, nice little angle on that. Let us know if you do find that. Another stock here in the chat. I'll be happy to go over these. We do have about 6 minutes until we get going here. Becca mentioning RDZN. This is Roadzen. Pretty big move yesterday, it looks like. Oh no, this is no. Sorry, I'm having trouble with some of my lines here. It looks like this is fairly thinly traded. Boy, still though, big move. Big move yesterday. This went from about 388 to about 590, almost a double up yesterday. We'll see where this ends up going today. I would imagine the volume actually looks pretty in line. So this just kind of looks like it's moving fairly orderly. Let's see what we can look at on the daily. I have no familiarity with this stock. Looks like we did just kind of break out of this consolidation area. Maybe we're kind of back testing this. This one, interesting. This one, very interesting. Let's see where this goes. I'm going to look into this a little bit more. Bex, let me know if you have anything else on this one. Not familiar with this particular stock. Kevin, you want to take a look at ExxonMobil? Let's go ahead and do that. XOM for ExxonMobil. Here is your daily chart on ExxonMobil. Is really kind of sold off here. It does actually look like it recently breached some of those lows there. Wouldn't be shocked if this went for more downside. It did try to bounce here. Let's see if it can reclaim that. Let's see if it can build above that 100 level. It's already reclaimed that 100 level. We take a look at the intraday chart here. You can see this is having kind of a strong pre-market here. What's oil doing? Oil up almost 2% here this morning. So it looks like it's just kind of trading with that. HKD, you guys, really? HKD again? Are we going to be fooled by HKD again? This is just fake garbage. This isn't real. Anyway, this stock is popping here. Trade this at your own risk. We've watched this stock trade back and forth. It's risky. It's risky. If you can hit it, good for you. Make sure you keep the money in your pocket. But this thing just really, really risky.
I don't know if you guys
anything else you want to look at.
Well, I don't know if you guys are interested in any of these, but there are a couple of ETFs that short Tesla that were moving this morning. We got TSDD and TSLZ. So I don't know if those are anything that anybody's interested in. But
have you ever traded these 13? I don't think I've ever actually used these.
I've only seen them show up on the scanner, and because both of them were up and they were both, between 15 and 20% this morning, I thought, okay, well, maybe it's worth mentioning these if there's any Tesla players. I know we have at least one out there that want to try this. So just wanted to bring that out. I have a couple other smaller names too, if you want me to cover those real quick.
Yeah. What are you looking at? We do have just a couple of minutes before we open here. Let's run through it.
So I was looking at these. Don't really have low floats, but they were interesting and they may move. AMSC, they had earnings after hours yesterday. They had a really good guidance. It was well above the estimates. So that's one of the reasons it's moving. It has a 28.5 million float, so not really too big, but also not very small either. Just something to watch for, since sometimes these can move off their earnings. And this is a semiconductor or superconductor company. So there's probably going to be a little bit more fuel in the tank with this one. The other one is LCTX. This one actually has a large float, and I don't know how much this will move at all, but they did announce phase 1 and 2A results that will be featured at their 2024 angiogenesis, exudation, and degeneration meeting. So I don't think that that's too material. They're just going to be talking about things that already happened, but it was moving on that. So just a couple others that may be interested to you.
Yeah, good job with the drug names there. I often struggle with those. I'm impressed with that. David Lynn, good morning. Hope you're doing well. David Lynn mentioning Humana. Humana had earnings here. David talking about playing this for a bounce. It's actually not a terrible idea here by any means. In fact, we've actually made kind of a double bottom at about 337.5, and we're coming off of that quite nicely. Up, 24 points here off that bottom. This gap fills at 400, so still have another 39 points of movement here if that gap is going to get filled. Humana, this might be in play here today. If you guys are trading any of these bigger names, definitely want to know how you're doing it, what you're doing it, and what kind of levels you're taking a look at. Smoke Tuna, good morning. Great to see you back. Thanks for joining us here. You're bringing up MOB. You talked about this one yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Had a nice little dip, and then it looks like this was this a spike? This was yesterday morning. Yeah, this was yesterday morning spike, and then we kind of sold off, and now we're grinding back towards the high of that. Today, we do seem a little bit weak here. We'll see if this kind of picks up. I think you've been swinging this for a few days here, MOB. See on the chart here. Yeah, it looks like we ran right up into a resistance area, rejected right at 2 and pulling back. For me, for this to really keep going here, 2 needs to be the first level to fall.
We got 20 seconds left, and I just wanted to point out something with Humana. We have another relationship movement with United Health, UNH. That one's down 5% right now. And I've noticed that some of these ETFs have run. We're about to open. I'll tell you those in just a second here.
Okay.
But yeah, insurance ETFs have run pretty handily. Here we go. We're open.
All right, we are open. Let's get this rolling. Let me go ahead and add trade the pool to the screen here. Boom, boom. Remove this. So let's take a look at what we are trading here. So
TSCA is trying to pop out of the gate here.
TSCA?
No, PS.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
PSCA.
PCSA. I got that wrong. Sorry. PCSA.
That is popping. It actually took out that pre-market high there. So that initial move there, good. I'm going to kind of wait that one out just a little bit.
Yeah, 410 is the next level I have with that.
Showtime, EKS. I love that. Showtime.
Okay, well, there's one trade. I took PCSA out the gate and had to sell at 4. 410 was the level I have as the next resistance. I think we'll still get up there. Actually, we just popped pretty close to that.
Yeah, you sure
But
did.
I do want to wait now. I do want to wait for this to come in. That was the first move. I think we're going to pull back in here in a little bit.
PCSA. LVTX here. This is that lava that we talked about. That first move here is down. Here is your PC. Great job on this one right out of the gate here.
Thanks. That was just a quick.
There it is. Here's your 410.
Okay.
410, 412, more highs here.
Wow. Look at that thing go.
PCSA. Look at that thing roll.
Oh, it got a 412. I still have 410. Okay, now it's 415. There it goes. 450 is the next level.
TYNA. I don't see this really moving here at all yet. We'll keep an eye on that. DWAC moving towards the highs. We'll see if that curls back.
Oh, do you guys want? Should I tell them some of those dates that I was mentioning yesterday? That could
yeah, I mean, if there's anyone playing DWAC, might as well go over that.
Okay, let me pull that up so that I have something to read off for you guys.
PSCA just still popping here off that initial candle.
Jay, you're probably right. I think that might be going to 6 out the gate here. I mean, that was at a really good formation that it was making the pre-market, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Vera 22, just under 23 here. Vera getting jiggy. We'll see if that comes back into VWAP.
Looks like Rail Vision, RVSN is trying to do some more things. We got a nice pop in the out of the gate here. LVTX.
This actually really quickly here on RVSN. Sure. Sorry to interrupt here.
No
this 1 hour chart actually looks pretty good, right? We had that initial impulse move. We kind of orderly sold back down to a support level that we tested twice. We're above the previous highs, so that's good too. And it looks like we're kind of curling back up. So we'll see if we can make a run towards that $9 handle. I'm not saying it's going to get there, but so far hourly chart looking pretty decent here on RVSN.
Smoke Tuna, I want to see SPRC get back above 590 in order to feel good about that one. That seems like it seems like a level that the stock had trouble with since yesterday and in pre-market. But if it does get above there, I agree. This thing could be another, it could have another big day. PCSA all the way up to 430.
Looking at LVTX, it was looking like it was trying to curl there, but another move back down to the bottom here. There's a bid here at 220.
Yep.
Boy, that just got hit.
So yeah, the 220 is the level I have for that as a support. After that, then it's the 65 EMA around $2, and then the 200 EMA around 180.
Okay.
Now, as far as DWAC
Vera, guys, Vera, Becca, what a Becca.
Did it pop?
Here, Vera, yeah, there you go. Did. And actually, it went towards 25. What was that price target at again? I don't have it in front of me. I think it 26.
Oh yeah. The one that I said was in play. I believe that's what it was. 26. We hit just under. Let's see, was it 24.78?
Cal, glad you liked it. I will say I watched MTV when I was a kid, and Men in Black was a video that was on there all the time. So getting jiggy is definitely something that has been around for a number of years. I'll use it in a number of different contexts. Glad you enjoyed that. Vera, that high there was 24.82. Come back in here. It's about 23.5 on Vera. Actually, the spread is not terrible considering it's 15 cents, bigger than I like it, but considering the price of the stock and the move we have here today, really not terrible.
RVSN is just ripping. It's suspended now.
Halted?
Yeah, sometimes it says halted, other times it says suspended. So I'm not sure what the difference is that my broker's trying to, the distinction they're trying to make here.
That might be a broker specific thing.
Yeah,
that might be. They're just reading halt codes, I believe.
Looks like PCSA is trying to take the next leg up.
Okay, let's take a look at some of these here real quick. I don't have any setups on these. 450
is the next level I have for PCSA. While that's going on, I'll just tell you about DWAC. These dates that I think are important. We have election catalysts coming up it could be possible on February 6th and 8th when Nevada has their state-run and party-run caucuses. It's not expected to have much of a stake because of the small number of delegates that Nevada has. I think the next big contest that we could see some big moves on with DWAC is going to be on February 24th when they have the primaries for South Carolina, where Nikki Haley served as governor from 2011 to 2017. If Trump beats Haley here, not only do I think that could be a big push for the stock, it also might put pressure Haley to drop out, which could be another catalyst for the stock. After that, it's Michigan on February 27th. If Trump will probably wrap up the primary nomination by then, Haley doesn't drop out, and then we have Super Tuesday on March 5th.
So you basically have all of February. You have several catalysts within the month of February leading up to the Super Tuesday in early March. So that's going to be your timeline here. LVTX, again, looked like it was going to try to hold in there, breaking. We really need this to confirm confirm a bottom. I will say that already on LVTX here, we've tried to bounce twice, and we haven't really been able to do that yet. We actually just fell out of bed here on this VWAP. So this might still be in play today. I know it's breaking down right now. But let's let this confirm a bottom. Definitely don't want to take this off the watch list for the entire day. Let's go. Let me go back to that DWAC chart here. Let's see. So this is actually trading up here today. Again, if we take a look at the hourly chart here, the next spot that I have actually kind of at resistance right here, 40. Let's call it straight up 40, round number. We'll see how this behaves around 40. Good job there on the timeline, though, on DWAC. No position here for me. Still swinging Zim. Didn't we get, speaking of Zim, sorry I'm all over the place. Had a lot of coffee this morning. Didn't we get new Drury numbers this morning on shipping rates?
We did, and I don't think that that's really moved the needle a whole lot.
No, it hasn't.
I think we need to just be patient with that. It seems like lately Zim kind of sells out of the open, and then it's just going to rip later on. So I'm expecting this to kind of, just digest the information and then move. But we did get increased shipping rates from Drury.com. Great site to check out if you are interested in seeing what shipping rates are currently rising up to right now.
Lynn, good morning. You're late. What's up, traders? Tesla puts are what is up today. Tesla continuing to move to the lows, 187 now, or 186.93, the low print there. Crow mentioning SXTC. Remember, that's that China super low float that we talked about. Looks like this is curling. I'm going to give you the same PSA I gave you earlier with these low floats. They can move back and forth really, really quickly. So this curl can very quickly become a sell-off. Just keep that in mind. Have a plan for either direction if you're going to trade the low floats. Looks like Crow wants us to the upside. 253, the VWAP. Maybe this is pushing here.
Yeah, I have levels at about 250, 270, and 3 for SXTC. I didn't put too much effort into putting levels out for this one because it's just not something that I think I want to even dabble with, but I put levels out there nonetheless. So that's what I've been looking for.
Vera rejected at that 25 high print, 24.95, coming back in here about 23.5. We'll see if that holds the 23 handle.
So PCSA is
Becca,
coming back in.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was just going for the other Becca play here. RDZN, which you had yesterday. Looks like that is trading up again here today. So RDZN looking strong. Becca got that heat going. Bring that heat. Okay, PCSA is the one that you were taking a look at?
Yeah, I was just back to that because I noticed it came back down to my VWAP, and it's trying to hold above the 410 level that I had previously. And it looks like it's starting to break down there, but I'm just hoping that this is, and I hate using the word hope. I'm just hoping that this is just a temporary cooling off before it makes its next push up. I'd look for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes of more downside candles before we start to recover.
Okay, I'd love for this to come back to 385 and hold there in those downside candles because that'd give us an opportunity to trade this to the long side again. QN, LVTX reversal. You've been watching this one. We talked about this. We want this to confirm a bottom. Has it done that? Maybe. It kept pushing lower here. Maybe 212 is the bottom. Let's see what happens if it can actually regain that VWAP. I've got that at 230. And there's actually size at 230. So let's see if we can eat that size and actually trade above that and not use it as resistance. If you've got it, good luck. RVSN opening. That looks like that's moving higher here on RVSN. Spread looks pretty nasty on this one.
Yeah, this is going to be bracket order territory soon. It's trying to push up to 680 now. Okay, PCSA had a ugly candle at the next 5-minute interval here. Coming down to, looks like it's going to come down to about 370, somewhere between 370 and 375 for support.
You know what? I might try some of this LVTX. Yep, I'm going to try some of this right here. We are at the VWAP here. Okay, long sum right here. Let's see if we can actually push above. Need that high to get taken here. VWAP still at 230. We did hit those prints. They refilled it. But let's see if we can take that out. 236, the high spot that I want to see fall here on LVTX. Just did this small. Just makes a run back down towards the lows. We'll just set and take a look for something else. I'm sorry. Stop and wait for another setup and look at something else. I beg your pardon.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to try to get over 230.
Yep. And these bottom wicks give me some, now it's my turn, 13. These bottom wicks give me some hope. right? I mean, it sure looks like every time that we've kind of sold off here, it's wicked back up. The other thing that I'd like to see here, just using this, it looked when I bought that, the MACD looked like it was the histogram anyway, looked like it was kind of trying to turn positive. Now we're getting another downside bar here. So if this doesn't work here, this is going to be a rejection at the VWAP, and again, starting off the day here 0 for 1. Tell you what, man. The day trading for me has been quite poor. I have really struggled. Thankfully, the swings that I have been bolstering me both in the prop account and in my main account. It just goes to show you, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the bug. Diversify any way that you can. This thing moving back down to the lows. I mean, all I had to do was buy it, and this thing just sold off. So sorry for any of you that are holding this one.
210 looks like it might be a good support area. There's a lot of
there's size there. Yeah, it's kind of what we're waiting for here. This is just disappointing.
AMSC breaking. Let's take a look. Okay, and this was the one that it still had the 28.5 million float, but they had earnings yesterday, and they beat guidance. So,
and this one here, this actually looking pretty good here. This is taking the top off on this intraday chart. 13. What was the top on this daily chart? That was over 11. So here, let me see if I can actually zoom out on this. So we actually took out this entire area here. I would say 15, maybe even a little bit more. We've got the highs there at 17. If this really gets going, we shall see.
Okay, so going back to LVTX, just wanted to watch and see where we're. It looks like we did get a bit of support around 215. That's not bad, but it looks like they're trying to push this down some more. Yeah, Netflix, maybe it looks. Go ahead.
I was going to move on. So if you want to comment on LVTX, let's do it.
I think QN's right. It's shaking the weekends out, and then they'll probably end up shooting up. And I think that probably will end up happening maybe if we get closer to $2 even. And then,
RK, what on earth are you talking about? Why is Ryan cutting Aaron and never listens to Aaron? So disrespectful and annoying. Who's Aaron? What on earth are you talking about, bro?
And then there was also a mention about IBM from, let me see who that was, EKS. We could see 200 today. I wouldn't put it past you. I absolutely love IBM. I think it's a great company. I own it.
And I was going to say, you've been in that one for a while.
Yep. I think my cost base is in low hundreds, like 108 or something like that. Let me look.
IBM, I don't think it's moved this much since Watson was running the company. How about that, Jay?
Maybe it still is. AI is the play. I'm just kidding.
Let's see what Lava does here down at these lows. I'm actually going to set a stop. This is just
109.78 is my cost on IBM.
209. That's what I'm looking for here. Boom. Okay, we'll be able to switch over to something else. CRGE being called by Smoke Tuna. That's a penny stock. That one I will pass on.
Looks like we're just getting some of these movers out the gate to come back in a bit here.
Here's what I wanted to bring up on Netflix here real quick. Netflix yesterday, let's see, what are our intraday highs here? About 560, currently at 555 here. So Netflix, this definitely has some more room to the upside. If you take a look at this hourly chart, really bullish chart.
Yeah, I think this is going to be probably the best streamer out there. I don't think
are the streaming wars over, 13?
I don't think so.
You don't think Netflix has a stranglehold on the rest of the competition?
I don't know if I can answer that. I think they have. Okay. I think they're much better positioned than some of these other companies. But I don't want to say that. I don't want to write these other companies off, even though I am kind of bearish on them.
LVTX
pushing.
LVTX, maybe we're reversing here. Hey, QN. You know what? So far, I was not a part of those weekends. Let's see if we can actually get above this and get some movement here. LVTX. Nice little bounce back so far.
Yeah, I just need to get above VWAP and hold that and get above some of these other EMAs. And I to be even more enthusiastic about it. RVSN that's being mentioned. Holy cow, this thing's really moving.
Let me bring it up here.
Smoked tuna, great. He's also mentioning ENSC again. So this one was a previous mover as well, and it's looks like it's setting up. It's between a couple levels. I have 155 as support and 165 as resistance. It did get up there a moment ago. After that, it got 170, 175, and 180 as other levels after that.
And that 165 was a level from previous days. There is a little bit of size there, so we'll see if that gets eaten as well. ENSC. RVSN, are you in this one? Do you have upside profit levels on this one?
Let's see. Just looking at some of these other names.
795, maybe $8 in there.
LVTX still trying to get above VWAP.
I'll take it. As long as it doesn't set new lows. If it sets new lows, I will stop out of that one. RDZN holding right around that 6 handle. Around for some other stuff here. Let me check out the scanner, see if we've got anything new on there. EFRG holding just under 8. That might actually move through here. PCSA actually came back into the VWAP and held that so far. Let's take a look at that. Did you end up getting a fill on PCSA?
Oh, yeah, I already traded it out of the open.
Yeah, I'm a re-entry. Sorry.
No, I didn't. I have not re-entered that in yet.
Yep. Okay, looks like maybe right here. We'll see.
I don't know. I just keep looking at Rail Vision and I want to get into it, but man, I'd be chasing pretty hard at this point. It's probably going to get halted again. Maybe here. Yeah, I think it's going to halt. RVSN. Wow. It's amazing.
That it really is. This thing's just a monster.
Yeah, LVTX still having a hard time getting above VWAP.
Jay saying lots of fades from the open. That's what I'm seeing here too.
One thing that was mentioned in the happy hour chat that I think was pretty good was everybody that's leaving Tesla, they're not leaving the market. They're just rotating into something else. So NVIDIA, AMD, looking like semiconductors and AI names that they're rotating into.
PCSA trading up here.
Oh, yeah.
Just taking a look at that at VWAP, and LVTX turning back over to the lows here. LVTX.
Yeah, LVTX. If it doesn't bounce at the 65 EMA, then I may just decide not to do this anymore.
Just cut it.
Yeah.
PCSA, nice little move up off the VWAP here. Didn't take it. That's my own fault. We talked about this one too. How are some of those airlines doing? I saw Love mention here in the chat. Let's take a, here's American Airlines. Looks like this is trying to go higher. Here's Love. This comment is funny here. Ty, Love is falling apart like juicy smoke meat. Maybe that is a play off of smoked tuna. Someone not a fish fan instead of meat fan. Interesting way of putting it, but you're right here. Love actually fading from the open. This is actually what Jay was just talking about. Lots of fades here from the open.
I smoke all my meat with Love.
There you go. We're getting spicy here this morning. Look out, folks. Save is falling, so more airlines, more fades.
All right. Looks like LVTX is not quite done. Still trying to push up. Still trying to apparently shake up his hands.
I had a good stop on this one. It wasn't a little too aggressive. Was able to stay in that here. Looking around. Haven't even checked the Twitter streets yet. Maybe I should. Let me roll through my scanner here real quick on Pro. PCSA, man, big pop to that 479. Wow. That was the trade. I had it too. It just man, the day trading is frustrating. 13. It is really, really frustrating me.
No fill on PCSA. I'm sorry, Robert. I mean, there's opportunities for this. This thing looks like it's going to keep going up. One We'll see what happens after it unhalts, but I imagine we probably get a gap up.
Ty, Rob would say something like that. Killer mention right there, my man. You got that right. Nice job, Junior. Number of people you are trading this. That is awesome. IBM, by the way, more highs here. IBM just an absolute rager.
I'll take it.
We Happy Hour talked about IBM as a possible long in the 120s a number of months ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you do.
Because it was discussed as one of those, kind of under the radar AI plays. All these other ones that were just absolutely taken off, and just really noticed, like NVIDIA is like, oh, okay, well, this one's absolutely going. Nobody really got into IBM, and they were one of the earlier AI adopters.
We described it as the OG AI play, been around forever, and NVIDIA was the hot, sexy name. IBM was the stalwart that had been doing it for a while. So yeah, that ended up being good too. That ended up being a really good call.
Huge spreads on DOCU. We still waiting on a. Oh, here we go with LVTX. It's looking like it's starting to move now.
Let's do it.
And DOCU, I was just asking, are we still waiting on an offering for that? Because I know they were looking to get bought out.
Let me bring that up in the news. Hey, buddy, what are you doing? You have a concerned look on your face. And he's going to go to a different room. LVTX, here we go. Let's get a pop. Oh, we took out 230. Now we can get rolling here. 230 more size at 235. QN, we did it. We did it, my dude.
Easing out of this one now.
Here we go. What's that?
I said I'm easing out of this one and raising the stop.
I want to see it pop above 235.
Yeah, I have some orders out for that. It's just I keep seeing these big sizes come in at about 235. So just shaving off some profit.
LVTX back down to that 230.
Yeah. That's why I was shaving. Except for this. B-Frog. Who was mentioning that? Was that Smoke Tuna, or was that
Wiss might have mentioned that earlier. Wiss might have mentioned that one earlier.
Somebody mentioned it. I apologize for not remembering who, but that was a good call. We had to pop out of the gate, came back in to support at 770, and now we're back up through 8 again.
Real quickly here, QN saying LOL, MRK. I mean, LOL. This thing's rolling back over to the lows here. It was rejected at that VWAP. I know it traded above it briefly, but it ended up getting rejected at it. Interesting comment here, though. Merck partnership usually ends up in full acquisition. Do you have any other examples of this that we could take a look at? Because that would be an interesting case study. That would be an interesting case study. That was Crow. Okay, sorry. See, I will say you guys are in the awesome habit of throwing out so many tickers that sometimes I mix it up. That's totally on me and not meant to be intentionally disrespectful. So I apologize. Thanks for correcting that, though.
Yeah, that LVTX partnership. I mean, I'm not going to put it past you, and I think that could definitely happen, especially with the fact that they don't have a whole lot of debt. I think that'd be very attractive for Merck. So pick up a good company that doesn't have a lot in its balance sheet in way of liabilities. It's a good point. I could see it happening.
Around here, don't see anything else. Let me check out my scanner again.
All right. Looks like
we're still waiting out LVTX here.
Yeah, I'm mostly out of this one. I still have those orders above where we were trading, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. If we get up to 35 and start to get rejected, I'm just going to flatten this.
Okay. RVSN here is open and trying to bounce. We'll see if it ends up getting back up there. It's doing well so far. Let me actually bring this on the screen. I can roll through these scanner names here real quick. Vera really backed off that high earlier. Really, I think it printed 25 and kind of backed off. Good news here is that we're still holding right near that VWAP. So we're not actually breaking down yet. We're doing a good job holding in there. I'm sorry, PCSA?
Yeah, they're open now. And they're popping,
moving higher. There's 5.
Boom, there it is. And we're probably going to end up halting again if this continues, because holy cow, look at it go. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. 6. 575. It'll halt right here if it holds. And it didn't?
Yep. Oh, it
Couldn't.
didn't.
Nope, they couldn't hold it up there. That's interesting.
575. This is the one that that completed the phase 1B safety evaluation for their phase 2 study, and they have low float. This is the 20-for-1 reverse split and the high short interest. So, yeah, unsurprising that this is moving like this, but this is an awesome stock. If you guys got into this, good job if you traded it. And here it comes. We're pulling now. Back beneath
Big
5.
pull.
Mm-hmm.
Big pull. So they didn't get that halt and they yanked it back almost an entire $1.
Yeah. Probably going to reload. I'd have to think that this maybe tries to take that out, but let's see what happens after it comes back in a bit.
That SXTC, that low float China name, looks like this is going to try and make a move through the VWAP. We tried once earlier today and were rejected. See if we do it on the second attempt through here.
250 rejection multiple times in intraday trading so far. So that's the level to get above. What else is moving? What are we looking at, folks? SXTC. Oh, that's the one we were just talking about.
Yeah.
You killed PCSA, Robert. You got a good trade in there. If you did, awesome. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, Robert, let us know. The price also got killed, so that might be what he's referring to. That was a big pull, big knife there. I don't know though. I don't know. Plug, Omar, you want to take a look at Plug? Plug moves around all the time. This is actually a fairly decent trading stock here. Well, what happened? Was there any news on this recently? This really kind of just sold off out of the open and is bouncing now. I wonder what happened here on Plug.
BFrog made new highs. 835 is the current high right now. It's kind of slowed down with the volatility for the time being. We see AMSC has been coming in a little bit below the VWAP now. And LVTX is kind of hanging around here.
Oh my God, PCSA went right back to the highs and pulled again. I'm going to bring this up in the actual trading platform here real quick. LVTX really still struggling to get above the VWAP there. That's kind of disappointing, to be honest with you. This PSCA, though, this one's wild. This one has been wild here this morning. And really, the spread's not even that bad. I mean, I know it kind of spreads out, but it gets to a point where that spread is manageable.
Good volume, good liquidity, hitting levels. This is the stock that we want to be watching.
Indeed.
I think that there's more in this too.
Yeah, I think that you might be right.
I mean, we would have to get a sizable pull in order to start reversing. And I don't know if we're going to see that quite yet. RVSN is really starting to come in now. Those, what are these? Chopsticks?
Oh, RVSN, yeah, nice little knife beneath the VWAP there. Let's see where this one settles. What was updated? That's awesome.
Oh, that's just my cell phone letting me know that I got it with a notification.
That's an awesome notification. Props. Real quickly here, Tesla. Kendra Duke, but come on, Tesla, come into 184 and change. I've been waiting patiently for you in that zone. So I love it, Glenn. I love that you're waiting. You have a plan and you're waiting for a particular price zone. Now, intraday here, it does look like Tesla's kind of slowed down some of that selling here. Maybe we bounce off that 187, but I don't think that 184 target that you have is out of the question. So awesome job being patient. Robert said he got out on PCSA 575. That must have been a great trade. Big rocket, nice. Selling near the top. Let's go. You actually might have an opportunity to reload on that.
Yeah, I could see that, QN. I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, PCSA, just let this thing cool off for a bit and see what it does in the next 10 or 15 minutes.
Mystery Man with a good old meme mention right here. All your base are belong to us. I love how they made a new commercial that kind of plays off of this meme. So that's pretty awesome too.
Your bird sending out some tweets?
He is the natural kind. All organic tweets. He's actually just sitting on his it's crazy here in Chicago. Yesterday was really foggy, and today it was like hold my beer, I'm going to be foggier. It looks like there's a winter storm, but there's nothing really falling. It's just this really dense fog, and he's looking out there. He's got a lot to say about it, but I'm not sure what he is saying.
So I'm just going to get out of LVTX. I'm not liking the way it's looking, and I just want to protect what I've already got out of this. So I'm just gonna stop here. If it runs great, but I'm not confident in this right now.
Okay. I'm going to stick to my plan here on LVTX. One of the things that we noticed yesterday, or one of the things with the day trading that's has really been a struggle for me, is I've been a little too quick on some of those closeouts, and then the stock has ended up moving. And that's that. If I get beat today, I get beat today. I have my risk tolerance to protect me to make sure I'm not going to end up in the poorhouse. But what I don't want to get beat by is the same thing that I got beat by yesterday. I'd like to try and change it up. So I'm going to stay in. I've got my stop set. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it chops around here and moves, then I'll still be in it.
Yeah, I just would rather miss the trade than miss my exit.
Yeah, you already got money booked. Yeah. Keep it in your pocket. Absolutely. We talk about that all the time. When you put money in your pocket, keep it there. Unless you're going to spend it on your wife.
That's the plan.
You're like, yeah, I know how that one works.
Yeah, honey, if you're watching, that's the plan. I promise.
I promise. PCSA, who thinks this has got 6 written on it? We're about to take the high off here. A little bit of size at 576. There we go. 6 coming here. PCSA.
Oh, yeah.
Probably get a 6 test here, I would imagine.
Cycling through some of these other ones. Looks like
Here's a big pull. Here's your big pull.
Looks like B-Frog had a pop to 835, and now we're just really coming down to under 670. I'm sorry, 770. Numbers, man. I can't get them right today. Oh, wow. And then a huge pull with B-Frog.
Yeah, and I'm thinking with PCSA here, might try to buy this pullback. I wanted to get it a little bit lower.
Yeah, LVTX really needs to make a move to the upside here. Otherwise, I think we're going to 2.
Parker's Thinkorswim custom indicators. I love this handle. I love reading it every time I read it. PCSA has resistance at 7 using the weekly chart there, so that might be the next place it stops.
I got to say that is actually a pretty cool name, because Thinkorswim indicators, there are people out there that really get into customizing those, and they're pretty awesome when you have the right ones. So I like that name. That's pretty cool. I hope that your custom indicators are as good as I think they are.
PCSA coming back down. Let's see if this is going to reverse here. We got offers lining up on the offer side.
All right, I'm looking to see if Rail Vision recovers here. If we can get above VWAP, I'll probably take a position in this. Which is at $7.
All right, PCSA, if it loses this, I think it's coming into VWAP. 438, that's that spot on VWAP. Trying to hold with that 5 level.
I'm looking at 450 for a bounce in PCSA. We'll see if what happens with that.
Okay.
LVTX still kind of holding in there, but this is one of those things where if it holds in here, you could get that pop, that sudden move up really quickly and violently, but I don't know when that's going to happen. And the longer it does this, the less enthusiastic I'm about it.
Bounces here on PCSA really seem to have kind of slowed down here, so definitely not going to try to catch the falling knife until I feel better about it.
Okay, RVSN is moving now. I'm going to try
RVSN went back to its VWAP, didn't it?
Yeah. Try some now. Here we go.
Did you try some right around 7 on that buy price?
Yep, gone in at 705, and
Great.
I'm gonna just leave it here at 730. So I'm out, and there it goes. Just a quick trade. I didn't want to get a whole lot, but now it's moving, and it could go higher.
Nice job though. Nice trading, man.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a little quick one in that because this one, it halted and then it dropped out of the halt. I got to be careful with this one.
Yeah, definitely. Lynn saying it took the 50 cents on the Rail Vision short. Wow, shorting it. Nice. Good job there. Smoke Tuna saying LVTX looking weak. It could flush, but you might be able to buy that flush.
Yeah.
770 here on RVSN.
Yeah.
Netflix really rolled over from that 557 area that it was at earlier, by the way. Apple doing a good job holding in here at 194. That actually might be curling back to the upside. Tesla looking like this is going to break lower. Sorry, 13.
No worries. Unless it's named Tesla, the other Mag 7 stocks should do pretty well. I think we're going to see rotation out of Tesla and into some of these other ones. And maybe we get a higher print in NVIDIA today. I don't know, but
how's NVIDIA doing? I actually haven't pulled that up.
It's doing pretty good. It's higher than what it closed at, I believe, yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's right beneath the VWAP, trying to take that out.
Yep.
Look at the move here in Lumen. Wiss asking, what do you see in Lumen here? I see a move right back to that 50-day. What is that? The 200-day moving average that I got on there? Looks like it didn't quite touch it, but went right back there. There's some size there, 175, LUMN.
Looks like LVTX is coming back. It's got up to about 228. It's only a close above these EMAs and VWAP. Let me take a look at Lumen for you.
Every time they do this too with LVTX, when it comes back in beneath the VWAP, there's always a big offer out there, and there is just one at 222. Now they took it, so that's good. Scotty mentioning TGTX. That is one of the swings that's really working out here. TGTX has been great. I am looking for this to move over that $17 level on TGTX. I think that brings us closer to those highs that we set recently. That's kind of what I'm waiting for here on TGTX.
Sorry, I'm just waiting for news to load.
Yep, all good. LVTX still holding in here. Alan saying, where's the volume? We've been wondering that myself. We've been wondering that ourselves, actually. How's ServiceNow doing? So ServiceNow looked like it tried to move higher here, but rolling over. Let's go, Scotty. Let's go. Up $500 on that swing. Let's go on TGTX. How's Vera doing from earlier? Let's see. Okay, Vera's still under the VWAP there. RDZN, that was that Rhodesen one. That's still holding up here.
Oh, DV, that's what you mean by debt deal. Okay, I see that now. Lumen has a debt deal. That's why it's moving. Let me look at some more fundamentals in this one, because if this is for a trade, then it's probably going to be just fine. As long as you're not planning on holding it beyond today or trading it only today. If you're talking about a longer hold, I don't have an answer for you at the moment. Let me just look and see what this is. Oh, geez. Let me just look and take a look at this. Yeah, I see what you're talking about it going up to the 200-day SMA. This is the second visit to it this month.
Rumble might have found an intraday bottom here. Maybe risk against that 530 level on Rumble.
I'm just looking out of the corner of my eye. PCSA might be starting to curl up. Keep that on an eye on that one.
Yeah, it did a good job holding 513. Just as I said that. Oh, that's comical, man.
Lumen's a tough one. It's not making money, but it's got income, it's got cash, but it's also got a lot of debt. I don't think I'd be interested in this one for the long term. It's also got a pretty good amount of shorting happening with this one. Maybe one day. I wouldn't take it right now. That's just me though. I don't like Lumen for the long term at this moment.
PCSA is actually doing a decent job taking these offers out on the way up here. That 5 level has definitely held in here.
There we go. PCSA. It's still building.
Should have stabbed at this one. SPRC getting some volume. I want to take, let me take a look at that here real quick, but I want to come back to PCSA because I don't think this is done here. Here is your size spark above VWAP.
Yeah, SPRC is a bit spready. Got a 10-cent spread on it right now. We did go up to 5. What is this? 590. Is that the high that we made? Yes. That was one of the levels. If we can get above 590, I might be interested in SPRC again. I traded this one yesterday.
Big offer coming in and walking the price down on PCSA here. Big offer. Look for that to get taken. We've seen some wild action on this, but wow.
Oh, it's gone now.
There it goes.
Now it's
on the bid. the shenanigans 13.
Oh man. What was it at when it was an ask? Do you recall what the price was?
Yeah, it was like 530. It was like right in here. It was on the way down. We couldn't take out the high of this candle on the bounce, and on the way down, it's like they brought it in there.
Yeah,
and I still see some here at 540.
That looked like that was kind of like just a short trying to get a quick capture. Just big old size up there.
I mean,
covered down there.
All right, folks, it is just about 10:15 here this morning. Smash up the like for my man 13. Smash up the like for the trading action here today. And perhaps more importantly, be sure to stick around. 13 and I actually jumping a little bit early here today. We do have an interview coming up at 10:30, so we got about 17 minutes left here. Stick around for my main man, Zunaid. He's going to be interviewing Horizon Aircraft, right? That's ticker HOVR, if I'm not mistaken. And Zunaid's going to be doing an interview on that. So it looks like the CEO, right?
You asking me?
No, I'm asking rhetorically, but I know that the answer is yes. So I know that the answer is yes. They're going to be joining us here pretty soon. We're going to turn it over to them. In the meantime, though, let's see what we can get out of PCSA. Is this done yet? What do you folks think? Do you think this is done?
If it can hold, 5, I think that we still could try to get a push to 6.
5 has been the key level to the downside here. It'll be interesting to see if we take the top off this candle that we're pushing up on. Got that at about 550. Let's see, maybe a little bit lower than that, 547. Market Sniper mentioning CMND. Let's take a look at that. I don't know if this is set up. This is moving already. Sorry, which one?
There goes LVTX.
LVTX. There it goes to the downside?
To the downside. Well, it started
to the downside.
It's getting some support. I still think that we might see some good amount of support at 2. But yeah, I didn't want to be in this one anymore just because it just wasn't looking good. But that could change. That SXTC, that China pharmaceutical one, it never, that breakout above 250 and close above 250 never materialized.
Really, much like LVTX has used the VWAP as resistance pretty much all day here.
Vera now testing VWAP. This could be another one that tries to make a push for 25 if it can get a close above VWAP. We'll know in the next 4 minutes or so.
Lynn is asking, can you guys get Zunaid to ask the dude about Joby and Archer if appropriate? Yeah. We are believers long. Well, I will absolutely ask Zunaid to do that. No problem. Just don't hold it against me if he doesn't.
Hey, Lynn, that's a great question. I'm glad that you thought of it because I didn't think of it, and that's something that I'd want to know too. All right. Okay, so PCSA is still holding in there. We might get some more movement up. There's some decent size at 540 and 554. Take those out, we could push to 6. Zim came in and then it went up, kind of like how Zim does. Now it looks like it's starting to bull flag. We might get another move up above 14 here in Zim in the next 5-10 minutes.
So Zim doing Zim things, you're saying?
Yeah, it kind of opens and then it's going to go one direction really quickly and then the opposite direction, and then we kind of just wait and see what happens. But it usually ends up going up later on in the day. Right now, it's just making a pretty decent formation. So I'm anticipating a move back up to 14 and through the 65 EMA. It's having trouble getting above that at the moment, but I think the next move up to the 65 EMA, we break through it.
Tesla new lows. Good morning, Richard Judge.
Hey,
Hope
Richard.
you all are well.
B-Frog has croaked.
I shouldn't laugh at that, but I can't help myself. It's too funny.
LVTX, we're getting close to 2. We're now down to 208.
I'm stopped out of LVTX. That just simply did not work.
Yeah, it wasn't looking good.
Nope.
I'm glad I got out of
really used the VWAP as resistance all day. That's about as clear as it gets.
And then as soon as some of these EMAs started crossing over that VWAP to the downside, that was my signal that, okay, this is probably going to go lower.
And
sure enough.
And that I was going to say that signal played out.
Yeah, just watch LVTX if you're still wanting to trade this. There could be some support at 2. Let's take a look and see what these order book says. Looks like there is some down in that area. The biggest size I see is about 194. Excuse me. So it might not be over. Just set some expectations.
What I like here, a PCSA, this really looks like this is compressing. I got to think it's going to break out of this flag. Which direction it breaks out of, I don't know, but I got to think that we keep breaking out of here. This is continuing to compress.
Yes, QN, that's true. It's hard to compete with China EVs. Those are heavily subsidized by the Chinese government. Think something to watch for with
has their own problems.
Right. You got it. Something to watch for, though, is there's a European Union Commission that's going to evaluate whether or not to raise tariffs on China EVs because they're hurting competition with some of these European names, like Germany's Mercedes and BMW, among others. So just, kind of keep your ear to the ground when it comes to what's going to happen with that. There also might be tariffs raised on those cars coming into the U.S. So just keep an ear on the ground for that one.
I think PCSA might go here. Let's see. It's the 1 cent where we're really tightening up here.
Yeah, I think that it still could. And in the next 5 to 10 minutes, it could really start to move. We get some EMA crossings here over VWAP. Vera still trying to get above its own VWAP. Came back in a little bit, but let's see if can still push. Just going through these. Rail Vision might be coming back. RVSN, it's above VWAP now, and it's starting to gain some strength.
That's pushing, yeah. AZIA being called in the chat. No, that's just a penny stock.
Another therapeutic stock.
Telling you, that was a theme.
It is. It is. An SXTC still, it's pretty much sideways into this range between about 225 to 250. You're getting some wicks on the outside of that range, but mostly the bodies of the candles are all within that. So either you're going to see a breakdown or a breakout in this thing. Let's see if Vera can push through this next attempt at VWAP. It's coming back up there. I have VWAP on that one at 2242.
Still watching PCSA here. This is really compressing. I am almost thinking this breaks out to the upside. Tempted to try some of it here. We'll try. Let's see.
I'm super curious to see if Nvidia does end up going to 650. It's really starting to look like it could. I mean, we're almost there. But I just don't know what else is going to be driving it. Could this be another one of those things where it just has another piece of news come out like it did yesterday when they were talking that that partnership with Equinix, the data server company? That I thought that was some pretty big news, and it really does help companies that can't afford their high-end servers.
There's your break.
At least have access to them.
There's the break on PCSA, breaking to the low. I'm going to... I know better. I said my gut tells me it looks like it might break to the upside, and it breaks to the downside. Man, the day trading on my... I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do something. I'm going to have to readjust or do something because it's been so bad. Vera, here to you, what you were just talking about here, this pushing off the VWAP.
Yeah, if Rail Vision can keep around these levels, then we'll get it EMA crossing into VWAP, and that could be a signal to have it go higher. Let's take a look around and see what else is doing good or bad. AMSC has really come down. This is the one that had the earnings yesterday after hours. So it's taking profit and selling out of that one. B-Frog. Yeah. Still a frog on the hot plate, and the heat has turned up. SPRC. It's interesting with this one.
Take a look at that one
because it got up here to 590 area, and it's kind of just holding this this level above 568, and that's kind of been a level all through trading the past day. If you look in the after hours and in pre-market, that was it was after hours. It was a support level. Pre-market, it was a resistance level, and we got through it at the open, and now it's just kind of holding up there. So kind of interesting, SPRC.
Yeah, it really, to me, the upside level here is going to be 6, right? We've kind of wicked above that a few times, but we are doing a good job holding in here and actually building above the VWAP as well.
I will get to your question here in just a tick, Lynn. I'll just look. Well, the first one that I want to see cross is the 9 crossing VWAP, and then after that, I want to see the 15 crossing VWAP. Usually, when EMAs cross VWAP, whether it be to the upside or downside, you usually get some pretty big moves in that same 5-minute candle. This is on a 5-minute chart that I'm looking at these.
Okay, so real quick, I'm trying to set up the visual aid here for you because I do have these EMAs loaded onto the chart. Just to kind of fill you in there, the 9 EMA is going to be the yellow line. The 15 EMA that 13 just talked about is going to be the light blue line, the thicker one. The thinner one is the VWAP, this thicker one. So you're saying that you like to see that 9 cross through the 15 on that 5-minute to set up that entry.
Well, you're looking at B-Frog. We were talking Real Vision.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem.
I'm just saying the actual EMAs, like the actual these are the lines that you're looking for.
That's SPRC. We're the one I'm looking for. The one I'm looking at is RVSN, and she's asking about what EMAs I'm looking to have cross over VWAP, and it's 9 first, and then 15.
That's the I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
I'm really sorry. It's but still it's this light blue line and this yellow line. Yeah. This is what you're looking for.
That's what I'm looking for, and I'm looking to see looking for that crossing to happen. Because when it does, typically, not always, but typically, you'll see this this move quite a bit. So that's what I'm looking for. Well, it's really starting to move. Looks like it wants to try to break above 750. It's getting pushed down at that level.
This is where that other wick stopped it. Let's see if this actually breaks above here.
Now we're going. Now we're going. Oh, my longer EMAs, 65 and 200. And when those cross each other as well, yes, those are signals to me as well. I crossings really do help. LVTX right down to just above $2 right now. We're at 205 in LVTX. So if 2 is going to be the level for this one, it's going to have to start showing a bottoming soon. Otherwise, we're going down to the 180s. Absolutely, no problem.
All right, just a couple more minutes and we're going to bring on Zunaid for his interview here. Be sure to stick around. Nobody has to do anything or go anywhere. The stream will automatically take care of itself and Zunaid will take care of you. So looking forward to that interview in just a couple of minutes here. Let's see if we can get any other moves right before this ends.
Vera is trying to get above that VWAP. It did have a pop above it. It came back in. Now we're at the second attempt. So if the volume starts to flow in with this one, we could get a pretty good move. We're still looking for 25 in Vera, I believe.
Yep. Your high print of the day is just before 25. I think they got 24.92, I believe.
Smoke Tuna mentioning
LXRX. We saw that one earlier.
Lexicon is having a nice move. We sold out of the gate and found a bottom, and now it's moving up. Bunch of green candles on the 5-minute now. SXTC, this one looks like it's starting to break down, and for good reason. That just used the VWAP as resistance the entire day. Now, one of the things that's making me nervous with Braille Vision is how we're getting a lot of these top wicks that are getting to be pretty long. So if this looks like it's going to just sell off here because we're not able to get some of these closes in these higher prices, then we might not get that EMA to cross the VWAP, and that indicator's gone. So it hasn't done it yet. Jay Summers just taking PCSA for all it's worth.
In and outs, ATMing PCSA here. Love it.
Yep. Withdrawal, yes.
Market moving back up to the highs here too. New intraday highs. Let's see what we can do towards yesterday's intraday high.
Yeah, and Nvidia had a high yesterday of, well, we'll call it an all-time high of 628.49. We're less than $3 away from that. So maybe we do see 650 in relatively short order, maybe this week.
All right. It is about 10:30 here, so we are going to get over to our interview with Zunaid. Let me go ahead and bring Zunaid on here when he's ready. 13, again, thanks very much for joining us. Any closing thoughts here on the market for today?
We get PCE tomorrow, and I think that's going to be something really worth paying attention to because that's really tied to what the Fed's going to be doing with rates. That's their primary inflationary gauge. So I think that's worth taking a look at what the PCE projections for the Fed are and what the report says tomorrow. That should give you an idea of how soon we could see rate cuts.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much, 13. We will see you tomorrow. We will break down the market tomorrow. Good luck on the trading the rest of the day. I will see you in happy hour. Looking forward to it. Good stuff here today. Folks, stick around. Let me see if Zunaid is ready. We'll go ahead and bring him on. $13 is out of here. That makes room. I don't think Zunaid is ready yet. Let me go check on that. Yeah, and actually, David, really appreciate this. Hit the like before you go. Really would like to, excuse me, hit the wrong comment there. Hit the like before you go. That is the easiest way that you can support us. We really appreciate it. There is Zunaid. Zunaid, how are you doing, my man?
Sometimes in the financial world, things you just got to call an audible. You got to make some changes, and that's okay. What's up, man? How you been?
I've been all right. My day trading has been awful. I am
Okay.
in another really, really bad streak. But the good news is that my swing trading has really carried me up in both the prop and the regular account here today. So looking forward to getting back to a swing trading environment that I can be consistent in. But man, day trading is kicking my butt.
Yeah, and I know we had, who was it? Lynn, that I believe had a question for our next guest. Yeah, I believe it was Lynn Williams.
Yep.
I know you wanted to talk about competitors, so don't worry. We've got it in our notes. We'll have that conversation with Brandon here. But Ryan, as always, man, I appreciate you. And by the way, chat, here's what's going to happen. And Ryan, if you want to stick around, you can later on.
Okay.
But we're gonna have that interview with Brandon, and then we'll have about 10 minutes to kind of just chop it up till we get to our webinar about crypto. So 10 minutes of chart time with me, I guess, if you want to hang out. But I know you got a lot of busy stuff to do, so I'll see you next time if that's the case.
All right. Awesome. Good luck on your interviews, Nate. Thanks much.
Absolutely. And of course, chat, we appreciate you for hanging out for All Access. You already know that we love bringing on executives from publicly traded companies so that we can go ahead and ask them the questions. One of them, which you guys have already brought up, so we appreciate that. This is a really exciting one. This company just IPO'd. So you've got Horizon Aircraft. Ticker on the NASDAQ, by the way, is HOVR. And we've got the CEO, Brandon Robinson, hanging out with us. All Access starts right now. How's it going, Brandon?
Sinead, great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm sure you're feeling even better. I got to ask, all market stuff aside, which we'll talk about, how's it feel to be publicly traded now?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, it's a culmination of so much work from so many folks. It feels fantastic. You know, the NASDAQ process to get listed is robust for a company, and we're happy to be through it and really happy to be trading now.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, I know I got so many questions to ask you, but you guys have this really cool B-roll that I want to go ahead and throw up. So let's go ahead and add that B-roll here. I want to watch it because I went ahead and took a look at it and I just absolutely loved it. So we'll check this out and we'll get into the questions here in a minute.
We're here today at the ACE Climatic Wind Tunnel to test the aerodynamic stability of our 50% prototype at transition speeds of about 80 kilometers per hour.
Top speed coming up to 23, followed by a slow ramp up to 45. Okay, so we're 55. We're going to bring up the high power on it, so 6. All right, loading sequence 6. Powering up. Wind tunnel coming up to 78. Covers closing.
I mean, that I just had to show the viewers that to start things off. That looked really cool to the point where, like, I don't have a pilot's license, but if you could let me come hang out a little bit, that could be a lot of fun.
Well, we could definitely work something out. I was an instructor in the Air Force flying F-18. So if you want to, if you want someone to teach you how to fly, just give me a call.
Yeah, I got you. We'll cook something up. But look, obviously the folks saw the B-roll, but just explain it to us a little bit. Explain to me like I'm 5. What is it that your company does?
Okay, so we're building a hybrid electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So a lot of words stuck together, but essentially an aircraft that can take off and land vertically, just like a helicopter. So think any sort of helipad or parking lot it can land or take off from. Doesn't need a runway. Yeah. And then moving forward, it transforms back into kind of a normal aircraft configuration, and it can go about twice as fast as a helicopter. So think helicopter that is twice as fast and it can still get in and out of really tight spots. And hybrid electric, so it can recharge itself en route, recharge itself when it lands. And it's, like I said, it's a pretty impressive machine.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to, when I think of advantages of a helicopter, it's like you say, you get into tight spaces, especially in like terms of rescue missions and different things like that. It's easy to just come and get in, get out. I want to go back to the IPO, especially the inspiration to go ahead and go public as well. And if you could provide a little bit of an overview of the company's journey in that aspect as well.
Sure. So we were pretty successful in raising capital in the private markets. And the decision to go public was a couple of things. One, we found a great partner with the Pono Capital 3 folks, and shared a great vision with us. They had ties to some decent investment as well. And fundamentally, we also wanted to share this journey with retail investors as well. So back up 2 years, ahead of the sort of de-SPAC boom, a lot of very inflated valuations. We're coming in with a very reasonable valuation and think there's a lot of room to grow for folks. So we're primarily for those two reasons, and alongside, of course, raising next level capital to help support our full scale prototype development, which we're really excited is underway right now. Those are the primary drivers.
And of course, speaking of money, you had an announcement of $250 million deal with Jet Set Go, which is significant as well. Can you go ahead and guide us through the details? And mainly, I'm curious how this collaboration will drive the company's growth and kind of really take it to the next level.
Yeah, and so a lot of companies in our space, in our advanced air mobility, kind of air taxi space, if you will, have raised some significant LOIs in terms of pre-sales of their aircraft. That's quite common. We had been approached on several occasions to do the same, but we're trying to be open, transparent with everyone, and we wanted to have a real product with real, or at least a vision towards the final product that was a little more developed before we started getting into that.
Yeah.
We met Jet Set Go about 6 months ago, and it was a pretty rigorous process of us sharing information, sharing performance metrics, sharing some of our test data.
Yeah.
And Jet Set Go is interesting because they're really an operational company. And I think that's what sets our company apart a little bit. So I was a fighter pilot in the Air Force. My father's been flying and fixing airplanes for the best part of half a century. And so we're not just a bunch of aerospace engineers sitting around in a university or from a university. We've lived that sort of life. I've been that person in the cockpit in bad weather or unexpected things happen. And so we're building a machine that is built for the real world, which is pretty exciting.
And I took a discovery flight, I believe is what it's called, when I was looking at getting my license as a pilot. And it was just the coolest thing. I can only imagine going as fast as you've gone and your planes go. That's a whole different experience in itself. But you mentioned a couple of different things. Let's talk about the current and the future use cases that you have, right? Because you've got a couple of different things coming up. I want to shed light on the markets, both the consumer and the commercial side that Horizon Aircraft is looking to disrupt.
Yeah, so it kind of happens in phases. Initially, if you can build a helicopter that travels twice as fast, imagine getting someone that's injured on the side of the road to the hospital in literally half the time. Maybe you're transporting critical cancer drugs that are the time sensitive from one hospital to another, or any sort of critical goods. Maybe it's COVID relief supplies to some isolated community. All over the U.S. and all over Canada and the world, there's little communities that have to travel hours and hours and hours to go pick up any sort of supplies, and it's really stressful for them. So imagine dropping stuff off right to those communities. Not to mention, here in New York, it took me 45 minutes to get down to Wall Street. I could have walked here faster, right? Just gridlock traffic everywhere. I flew a lot of missions out of Southern California. Same thing. You got 12 lanes, absolute gridlock traffic, and you look 500 feet up, and it's clear blue sky. So using that third dimension and a much more efficient way to move people and goods around difficult places and congested places around the world, in North America, of course.
You mentioned competitors, and I know we had a question regarding that, so I'll come back directly to that. But what distinguishes the Cavorite X7 from its counterparts?
So the first thing is that it's hybrid electric, and so we don't have to fly from charging station to charging station. Once we complete a takeoff, we recharge our batteries. Once we complete a landing, we can recharge ourselves in almost no time while the aircraft is being refueled. Hybrid electric also gives us much more range. So a lot of the competitors are all electric. Think, kind of typical air taxi from one part of the city to another part, maybe 20 kilometers away. We go between cities. So at that regional level, out to 200 and 300, 400 miles with full fuel reserves. We also have a lot more power on board, and so we can move the aircraft a lot faster than a lot of the competitors. So think, instead of thousands of pounds of batteries and a couple of 100 pounds of stuff for people, we have a couple of 100 pounds of batteries and 1,000 pounds of stuff to move. And so we like that equation. And I think it's resonating with a lot of the operators that are looking to get in early, like Jet Set Go, with the order for $250 million, up to $500 million of our aircraft. We're pretty excited about that competitive advantage. So, designed for longer range, tougher, bad weather, kind of the real world operations.
Yeah, bad weather is definitely something that I think a lot of people complain about when it came to Teslas. That's when it's very cold, you can't even get into the car. So I think those are things I'm sure you guys have thought about as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the market and where it can be, right? I believe right now it's projected for the market to be about 1.2 billion, or it was, excuse me, in 2023. And it's projected to be anywhere between 22 to 24 billion by 2030. What factors do you think are kind of contributing to this surge, and how are you set up for success to make sure you get a nice little piece of that pie?
Yeah, so it is pretty exciting. Again, if you can build a helicopter that is much cheaper and can move much quicker, yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of business cases. And again, with the world's congestion kind of building in major populations, it is, there's all sorts of different use cases that are driving those market projections. So again, that's pretty exciting. Now, I think another thing that's, of course, driving this this kind of revolution in flight is the advancements in technology. So now you have much, denser, energy dense batteries. We have electric motors that are really robust, coming from the automotive sector. Now the aerospace sector, even better electric motors. So the technology, again, really exciting for the future kind of generations. I have 3 little kids, and now that I've got a peek into the real engineering and what's possible, it is very exciting for those folks and for the future.
I'm sure they're a little upset whenever you have to drive them to school and say you can't just fly them to school. I'm sure it's a little bummer for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've talked about the competitive advantage that you have with your type of flight. Are there any other competitive advantages that you have over your competitors? That's something that Lynn, one of our viewers, wanted to ask you.
So great question, Lynn. I would say one of the interesting factors about our aircraft is 98% of the time, it is just a normal aircraft. So it can land conventionally on a runway or take off conventionally if there's any problem with any of the vertical lift systems, or if you want to stress the aircraft out a little bit less, you can roll down the runway, take off normally, and then go and land on a helipad or a parking lot or some tight location. And so I think that's a pretty significant competitive advantage. Now, also think of the certification ramifications for that. So from a certification perspective, you talk to the regulatory folks, and now you have an airplane that just flies around like a normal airplane that they understand how to certify for 98% of the time.
Yeah.
It's, they collectively sort of breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. Again, because for fundamentally 98% of the time, it's just a normal airplane, which is kind of cool.
Now we're going to go to the chat to ask a couple of questions here. I'm going to go back to Lynn because she's got some experience. What about airspace congestion? As she's got 2 former United flight attendants here with Lynn and Randy watching at home.
So that's a great question. Again, I've flown in some of the most congested airspace, Southern California and around New York. Now, a lot of that congestion is actually in the upper levels, so above 10,000 feet. When you get below 10,000 feet, it's much more reasonable. And there's a lot of corridors that can be used right now to move some of these aircraft around. So I am, having flown in that airspace, I'm less worried about the congestion. Most of these aircraft will fly less than 10,000 feet. And of course, less than 250 knots or about 280 miles an hour. And so that airspace is much more conducive to moving these aircraft around and moving people and goods.
Now, one thing I do want to, I know there's certain things that you can answer and you can't answer, but I'm just going to see what the chat wants to know. And if you're able to answer them, that'd be great. One of them is here from Sonny talking about what is a price point that we're looking at, and are we going to ever have it for the retail investor, the retail customer as well?
So we're targeting 3.5 to 5 million. That's been publicly released. And of course, the Jet Set Go LOI, 50 aircraft at 5 million for a total of 250 million, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of sets that upper boundary. Of course, when we get into higher volume production, that price point will come down. And we compare ourselves against similar helicopters. Again, being able to move twice as fast and much lower operating costs. Against a similar helicopter, we should come in much cheaper.
And then in terms, you mentioned twice as fast. I know Nick's got a couple of questions, and that'll be probably the last one I'll ask. You've got Nick wants to know the flight speed capability, and then of course he wants to know about range here as well.
Yeah, great question, Nick. So again, it's been published on the website. We're max speed of 250 knots. So think about 450 kilometers an hour for the metric folks out there. For range, we're targeting in the 300 to 500 nautical mile range, so up to about 800 kilometers with fuel reserves. Of course, it depends on how heavily the aircraft is loaded, and depends if if the person asking the question has a deep aerospace sort of background. We can talk a lot longer, but that's a more complicated answer. But again, moving at that 500 mile range at speeds up to 250 knots is pretty impressive.
And then last one, I think I said that 3 times, and I promise you this is the last one. I've got a question about what do you think most retail investors do not understand about the EVTOL industry?
Well, I think, say back up 2 years, and
Yeah.
there was a question of, are these aircraft going to be certified? Will they actually work? Now the industry is much more, I would say, sophisticated, and there's been a lot more analysis. Now there's a lot more excitement that, hey, now the regulatory frameworks are being constructed, they're in place, and it's more of a question of when these aircraft are going to be certified, and if they hit those metrics, then they can do useful work. Those business cases are starting to get sharpened and starting to play out. So that's something that might be something that the average retail investor might not appreciate, how far this industry has come in the next 2 years, and that exciting trajectory moving forward for the next 2 to 3 years. We'll have Volocopter flying in Paris this summer, hopefully. We'll have some really interesting use cases on the West Coast with Joby and Archer potentially in early 2025.
Yeah.
And so now it's this industry is really taking off, for to use a pun.
No pun intended there, I'm sure. It's interesting. We had another program afterwards, and I was going to be like, well, we go from Horizon Aircraft, we fly to another segment. But anyway, I'll save that cheesiness for later. But Brandon, those are all the questions that I personally had. And of course, as you can see, the chat was involved quite a bit as well. But I want to give the floor to you in case there were any topics that I didn't bring up that you wanted to talk to our viewers at home about, as they're clearly engaged with this topic.
Okay, Zunaid, well, thanks very much for the opportunity. We're just at Horizon Aircraft. We're just really happy to be that operationally focused kind of company that's building a really useful machine, and we're making solid progress. So stand by for some really exciting news coming up. And we're excited to build a better future for everybody.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up. I'm gonna hit up your rep and say, hey, listen, I need to fly out to wherever you are so I can check these things out in person. But this is awesome, and I really enjoyed watching that video and learning more about the cool things that y'all are doing, and really excited to talk to you here in the future as well.
Thanks, Zunaid. Call us anytime. You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate it, my man. And that is going to be Brandon Robinson, who is the CEO of Horizon Aircraft. Ticker on the NASDAQ is HOVR. Chat, thank you so much. It's always great when you guys are active and asking your questions, especially when it's about such a cool industry like this one and the great things that they're doing. Just watching that B-roll, I was like, I've got to show the viewers this because it was just way too cool to not keep an eye on that one. But now we're going to go ahead and try to take a look at some charts and see what we've got in terms of the markets. You guys get to hang out with me for about another 12 minutes. And then we've got crypto webinar coming up later on as well, with Grayscale being one of the keynote speakers. So that'll be a lot of fun. Let me go ahead and throw my charts up here as we'll take a look at, see what the markets are doing. There we go. We don't have to full screen it. We can show my pretty face. All right, chat. This is where you guys go ahead and get to ask me some questions. It's been a while since I've got a chance to hang out with y'all. Are there things happening in the background that, hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out a little bit more? But let me know if there are any tickers that you're keeping an eye on. ARM is something that I actually am in at the moment. So there you can see me. Oh, wait, did it? Oh, it came down and got it. Okay, cool. So ARM is, I think you guys called it. Was it Lynn? I think you called out ARM in the chat. I was paying attention while I was looking over my notes for the interview. So I got in here. Let me talk about why I got into this trade for ARM. It had broken this 78 and it went all the way up there, but I wasn't going to chase it. So I went ahead and purchased it here at 78.07. You can see my stop loss is about 76.94, looking to take gains at 79.55. And for the viewer at home, this is not financial advice. This is literally me placing real money trades on my TradeStation account here. And, you can watch me make money. You can watch me lose money. You can enjoy the show for free. Just hit the like button, though. That would be nice. If you want to hit subscribe, you can. Still day trading, Zunaid. I got ARM this morning and made $4. That is awesome. I do trade here and there whenever I get the opportunity. Just been busy with a couple of different projects. I was in Houston to produce a really cool art showcase with dances, film festivals, and different things like that. So just been working on a couple of cool things, and hopefully show that to y'all here with Benzinga as well. Let's see what we got with Tesla. I know Tesla was getting killed earlier this morning, and just what a drop. I think it's down from highs like 50%. Let's take a look. Let's see where we are from the highs. Let's get rid of all the drawings. Let's go ahead and get a ruler. Where are we at? What are we at? We are down about 55% from the highs. That is nuts. But not as crazy as what is it called? What was it? W Wayfair? Is that what that is? That is Wayfair. See, I know my tickers. Wayfair is down 85%. Yikes. All right, let's go back and take a look at some charts here. Let's see if we can trade something. Coin has been a lot of fun to trade. I mean, Coin has really been respecting yesterday, especially. So I got a chance. So I saw this break. I think it was around 130. Yeah, it was around 130 where I saw this break. And then I went ahead and placed a trade that you can see how this was support. Then when it finally cracked, we never really retested it on the 15-minute. So I went ahead and kind of got in here on the short. So Coin has been a lot of fun to trade so far. And we'll see if we get another opportunity, especially for breaks 118. I'd be interested. As you can see, that is the most recent low. Recent, obviously, here is, you know, opinion, depending on what your definition of recent is. I think we had AMD. Yep, AMD with a nice little move as well. Let's see what we've got here on Meta. The rent. What do you talk? What do you mean? What do you mean, Crow? By the way, shout out to 13 for hanging out with Ryan. Since Mitch left, wish Mitch the best. I need to hit him up, see how he's doing. But you can see in terms of futures, here's the ES. You've got 48, 73, 50 hanging out here. Excuse me, as support. So we'll see. If you want to go short, right, there are plenty of different opportunities. So you can kind of play the trend line game. So if it breaks this, you can possibly go ahead and get short if you want to day trade it or you want to swing it. But for me, you got to keep an eye on this 48, 73, 50 area. For a break of that, then you can get some real nice movement to the downside. Man, NVIDIA just keeps on running. Look at this. Tested 550 and then just said bye-bye. Not even that. I think it was 500 that it broke and then it just kept going. You know what it was? I think I waited for the retest of 500 on NVIDIA and I never got it. Yep, there it is right there. Oops, I didn't mean to do that, but that's whatever. We can move on from there. Let me show you guys. So here was the break. I remember this day too. Here was the beautiful break, just straight $10. And I was like, oh, okay. It'll come back to VWAP. I'll get it back at like 503, 500, whatever. And then, no, it just blasted away. Elon says, do you see Nike bottoming at 100? I did not. I actually am wearing Nikes. Oh, wait, no, I lied. I switched shoes this morning. Sorry. I forgot I came from somewhere else. But let's go there. This is cool. So, man, this is awesome. I'm glad you brought this up. There's $100. We always talk about the psychological numbers of 100. Now let's see about the range that we've got, right? So your range is about 102.21 and 100. So here's a couple of things you can do. If you're a believer in Nike to the long side, man, I think you can go ahead and get in around here and you can have a stop loss of, call it 99, 98 if you're going to try to swing this puppy. Or if you want to wait for a breakout, you can wait to see if it consolidates out of this 102.21 area to the upside and then see if you can have a long position and kind of go from there. Let's see what the daily looks like for us here. A couple of gaps if you can go ahead and move above it. Sorry, my Slack just went off, so I was like, what? But yeah, I like this Nike, I do. And obviously, if you want to go short, you wait for the crack of 100 to the downside as well. I feel like we need to start playing some music in the background. That's what we need to do. But then how can I do that without disrupting? Let me see here. I don't know if I can do that without like sharing my screen, but I can only share one screen at a time. We'll have to figure that out later. Wow, look at AT. Look at AT. Just bringing in music. No music, it ruins the chat room. Well, if that's how people feel, then we can go ahead and kill the music, or at least just have it very low in the background. There you go. I'm okay with that volume. I'm okay with that volume. Chat, you okay with that volume? Because here's the thing. If there's no music playing, my neighbors will think that I'm just talking to myself like a madman, right? And I think my neighbors already think I'm kind of weird. But it's also creepy that Aaron Thomas is in the background listening to our conversation. But anyway, looking at crude oil, you can see the trend line that we've drawn in the 15 minutes. So if you're looking to go short, I think you wait for the crack of this. Matter of fact, we're going to set an alert on that. Let's see what Coca-Cola is doing, huh? Yeah, I can take care of that, Aaron. No worries, buddy. I'm going to end right at 11. So just let me know. Get thicker walls. You know, I actually had a friend of mine had, unfortunately, a sprinkler pipe bursted. So her place is like flooded at the moment. All right, let's go back to ARM. See how that trade's doing. Is it in there? Is it in the red? Ooh, we making $7, baby. This is a trade where I just kind of leave it alone. I got Amazon soundproof wall sticker things. What does that mean? What do you mean? Oh, you guys want to know something funny? So like I said, I was in Houston and I am terrible at finding parking. So I didn't want to pay $40 to park at the hotel. So I found street parking, like a little parking deck for like $7 a night, or excuse me, $10 a night. So I parked there, but it was like a solid 3-4 minute walk. And I knew I'd forget where I parked my car. So I had my little AirTag, Air Key thing, whatever, from Apple, because I always lose my wallet. I've lost like 3 in the past 3 months. And so I put it in my rental so that way I knew where the car was when I needed to find it, which worked because at 4 a.m. when I'm headed to the airport, I looked for it. I found the rental. I was good with it. But I forgot to take the AirTag out of the rental. And so now... This might sound creepy, but I think I can still track the car. Maybe I shouldn't do this on air, but let's see. I'm gonna actually see if I can find where that rental is. This is really, really creepy. All right, according to this, it was at the airport 44 minutes ago. I might just call them and say, hey, can you mail this back, or at least like throw it in the trash so someone doesn't feel like they're being tracked. Anyway, here's our ARM trade. Again, the reason that we took it is because you had a breakout of 78, and then on the retest, we got in. And now we're looking to see if we can go ahead and capture about $148 in profits, as I expect $80, as you can see right here, to be resistance once again. Drop a pin on a map where you park and you won't lose an AirTag. You know, you're right. But when I parked the car, it was 3 a.m. the previous night. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was struggling to find how to pin on the maps. And I didn't want to, you know, get mugged. And so I was like, screw it. We're rocking with this. This is what we're doing. I dropped this car off on like Tuesday. So I guess... I don't know, maybe someone hasn't rented it in 2 days. I find that hard to believe, but I definitely need to call the rental company afterwards. But all right, we've got about less than a minute. Let me know if chat, you have any questions. I'll quickly just go over a couple of trades that I'm keeping an eye on, right? So you've got crude oil, kind of mentioned this trend line here on the 15 minute. something to keep in mind if you want to go short. It's been bouncing off of there for at least 4 times. And then a trade that I am currently in is ARM. ARM Holdings in at 78.07, looking to take it to the upside at 79.55. Downside is 76.94. You guys have less than 30 seconds if you want me to talk about any tickers, or else we are going to crypto and blockchain outlook in 2024. Again, keynote speaker will be happening with Grayscale. And that about does it for us. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. Again, don't forget to check out Trade the Pool as well.